for it. Jacob, I'm going to hand it off to you. Who is your dark horse for this week?
Yeah, so I find myself in a predicament, just like a lot of other fantasy managers, of possibly not having Travis Kelce this week. And so it got me thinking about who can be a replacement tight end. And I put this guy in the waiver section, but I didn't bring him up because I wanted to talk about him here. And that is Cole Kmet of the Chicago Bears. Now, he's been up and down all year. We've talked about him as a waiver wire pickup in the middle of the season. You know, he's been hot and cold, but I think when it comes to tight end, it's very ugly. So you look at him, he had 9 targets last week and 6 catches for 71 yards, getting you 13.1 fantasy points in full PPR. So look, there's nothing you can do if Kelce misses. You're going to have to find a replacement. There's not a lot of options out there on the waiver wire. Cole Kmet might actually be rostered in some very competitive leagues, but as of right now, before waivers process for Yahoo, he's at 25%. So if you're like me and you're going to be desperate for a tight end, I think you can look Cole Kmet's way. Though that performance last week is very promising for me. Justin Fields is looking like he could, finally be putting it together. So I'm going to go with Cole Kmet.
Interesting choice. I'm also eager to see what other tight end options might be on your fantasy radar or waiver wire in that particular league, Jacob, because I do have a fantasy question myself, specifically regarding tight ends later in the show. But Cole Kmet, I mean, yeah, man, that's real bottom of the barrel. It's also kind of like my pick that I'll get into shortly. You're banking on the fact that Justin Fields can find fantasy success. I mean, last week he throws a touchdown with 1 second to go in the game. If that doesn't happen, I think it gives you like 11 fantasy points. But that only means that he's looking short, and Cole Kmet has been that outlet for him. Not so much David Montgomery or Kenneth Herbert. So Cole Kmet, tight end, Chicago Bears. That's Jacob's dark horse pick. Justin, what are you thinking about it?
I love it. I think I talked to Jacob about it. I don't agree with him on Fields making it happen, Captain, but that dude's trash. But you got to throw somebody in. Komet is a nice tight end. He's had a couple good games, and if I can get 10 plus out of my tight end, I'll slot that in instantly. So I think he's good for it.
I do want to add really quick.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
forgot to mention about Cole Kmet. Anybody's still listening and who cares? He's playing Seattle, who is very friendly to tight end matchups. That's another reason why I chose him as my dark horse. Unfortunately, that's not going to be in the clip when I clip it out, but I did want to mention it really quick.
Unless you show us your expert editing skills, Jacob, and get it done. You know
I might
you can.
do that.
Before we get into